My life has been a holocaust of crimes, but this is my legacy. I made and designed, despite the handicap of Parkinsonism and being poisoned and crippled since 6 years old, most of my clothes and designs. I did it for fun. I didn't want to do it as a business, but I was always a political rights activist for children starting at the age of 7, fighting against children being brutalized, bullied, raped. Took care of a schizophrenic when I was 13, and this is going to be about the fashions and the good memories and the things that I am proud of. Now, my mother was completely psychotic. I won't go into that. I've done that in my biography, and my father was a violent sociopath. I was actually brilliant, beautiful, and had a genius memory for analysis. I didn't understand it at the time, but I skipped a couple of grades, quite by accident. And I fought the Catholic Church when I was 8 years old because of their racism against Jews, because I pointed out that Jesus Christ was Jewish, and I have all that on my biography on my free website. And that's Carmen, my aunt, but the plaid skirt represents what we did in the 50s. Everybody was wearing plaids, and I had one of every different color, and I made that outfit. So did my mother, and that was Sandra, my dearest best friend on the planet, raped by her father and horribly abused. She's in heaven, dear child, and we made and sewed and designed our clothes. That's my mother and me, and that would be around 1954. This is 1957. I'm 16, and I was raped the next day. My first full-time position, public relations secretary at City Hall in Sudbury, Ontario. And most of my outfits, again, I made. That was silk brocade. This was a wedding of my Regina, a dear friend, and we were in organza. That was the style. I bought a few outfits along the way, and I would have a dressmaker make some. I was trained as a model at the age of 15, and we had all kinds of model fashions shows in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada at the time to help raise funds for cancer. And I modeled, and I was trained to do my own hair by the hairdressers. I became friends with all the hairdressers. And it was great. And it's too bad we still don't do that, because back in those days, this might have been a redneck mining town, but I got to tell you, the women were gorgeous and we dressed beautiful. Now they look like they're going fishing, the way they dress, most of them. And here I am pregnant. I was date raped by a man who was married, and I was forced to give up my child because he was immoral. I didn't want him to have him. And my family's so violent and abusive. So I gave him up for adoption to set him free. And I have never regretted that decision. I'm only sorry that Canada... Here I am in 1964. That's where I met Elizabeth Taylor. She offered to help me, but I was too stupid to take her offer. The doctors lied and told me my problem was genetic, these crippling attacks that I took. And here I am modeling with the Montreal company with Max Vader and Makushla. We were dear friends. Nicole Moret was in the movie Going Down the Road in 1968. And I was very lucky. They gave me the outfits as presents for the modeling. And I did a lot of modeling, but I didn't really want to do it professionally. By then I was in the investment market and I worked in the stock market. Here a photographer fell in love with me, and he took a bunch of pictures of me. But he wanted to take me to New York and put me in Harper's Bazaar magazine. And I said, no, I don't feel like it. I kind of like working in the stock market. And, you know, I really here I got married, but it was really a wedding. I was drugged, and he tried to kill me, and his best friend rescued me. Here I am modeling for Falconbridge Nickel Mines for their, that was in 1970, and it was not a really great experience working at Falconbridge, but the executives all really liked me and I liked them, but the attitude was towards women was not the best, and so I was always in trouble. Now, this fashion is between 1970 and 75, and most of the things that you will see, I either made a designer gave me. To tell you the truth, because I was always modeling, but only for fun. My first home, I was the first woman in Ontario to get a house and a mortgage in her name. They refused to give women that right. You had to get a man to sign for you. And I said, that's bullshit. And I went and I borrowed $3,000 for furniture and slapped it down in a house. This is my favorite nude of myself. I think I'm absolutely gorgeous and proud of it, despite being terribly ill and taking crippling attacks. And this is my best friend in my life, my cat, Choo Choo. She made a funny sound, and she skied with me, sailed with me, danced with me. We were inseparable. And here I went in and became an agent for a real estate investor. He wanted me to get a license, so I did. I sort of did stuff like that. You know, you wanted me to do something. I said, okay. And truthfully, he was a great cook, and I was really well for about a year. And then I crashed. And then I had another wedding to a psychopath. And my grandmother was here. She would be around 84, I think, and she was the last quilt that she made me. And I had entered AA. I was trying to drink myself to death. And even though this is 1984, I now lost all memory. And Dan McIsaac, as you see here, rescued me. But I could barely read, and I couldn't write, and I couldn't retain memory. And I was now completely unemployable. And he was teaching me how to cook, which is actually pretty funny. He wasn't much of a cook. But in 1986, my dear friend Tom took me to a cabin that I had, and for the summer, and we had a wonderful, wonderful summer together. Unfortunately, it ended with the doctor trying to kill me, and I wound up in a terminal, running and escaping Sudbury and the medical maniacs, and I was terminal in a shack. And what's really amazing is that Dr. Carolyn Dean did try to help me, and Dan and Tom put me in a gas mask. It was awful, but it allowed me to breathe. I could no longer breathe the Earth atmosphere. I was now a bubble person, unless I was in an area of very high air conditioning. Timmy was 9 years old here, and he took care of me for 3 years. God bless him. He took pity on me when my family abandoned me and left me to die. And little Jason, oh, lovely memories of little Jason. He was my little pal. And all the children gathered around me and encouraged me to research diets for disease control. So that's basically what I did from then on, from 1986, 87, 88 to 89. But I was not getting any real information in Canada. Local small town papers put out media, and frankly, it got me more abuse. So the Premier, David Peterson at the time, rescued me and got me on disability and off welfare. And I moved to Collingwood and Wasaga Beach, where literally I had a lot of people try to help me. And finally, I discovered that canola oil was one of the main causes of my disease. I won't go into that here. But a farmer said his pigs wouldn't eat canola. And I said, well, they're smarter than people. And that's just a sample of some of the letters that I sent out, trying to campaign against canola and get the truth exposed. And then I took another terminal attack, so I flew to New York because Vice President told me that Obitrol and amphetamine would reverse the brain damage, and it did temporarily. It didn't last, though. But I had an amazing 5-day experience in New York that I wrote about in my biography. And that's Dan, of course. Tom died, poisoned by his doctor, and I won't go into that here. But I really thought that the drug would help, but it only lasted 6 months. So I then from there researched and campaigned to try to find a food that would do what Obitrol did, reverse the brain damage. And I finally, in 1995, I was successful. I had a vision. and I discovered okra. So then I tried to campaign and put out public relations media and articles and letters by the thousands, tens of thousands, and beautiful pictures, and tried to write my biography. The vice president in New York thought I was beautiful. I was 52 here. And he kept my pictures, but he said I couldn't be published because I wasn't famous enough, and they can't make any money on somebody who doesn't have a big following. So times have now changed completely. So so what I did was I tried to get small town media to at least get help to people like me, that raw okra would help to reverse the brain damage and to detox safely from being systemically poisoned. And I just couldn't get any support. At the same time, I just worked really hard, going back skiing and dancing with Dan and trying to get my legs strong. And I biked and I rollerbladed. A man in Wasaga helped me with that. And then finally, I got this great article in 1998, and I thought, oh, goody, it'll go national. Well, that's it. There you see it. Now you don't. Nobody paid any attention. But I went out in public in my little gas mask, and I promoted it as much as I could. And I know that I did help tens of thousands of people because I got gas mask equipment into the mines and into the factories. And I was successful with getting the United Steelworkers Union in the States to help me. But I still took paralyzing attacks. And this is, I would go from death to dancing and crippled to skiing. And the outfits you see, I made them all. And proud of it, except for that one. And that's the way I would walk in Wasaga Beach. And this was the last time global warming did not destroy my ski season. And this was the best article I ever received in the United States and Florida. And it actually did help me get disability I sent it out to every member of parliament, and it did get disability for a lot of people in Canada. So it was Americans that are responsible for whatever successes I've had. That needs to be made very clear. I have had little or no success in Canada. I did find 2 doctors that would help me while they live. And mainly I stay off drugs. I'm predominantly vegetarian, but I cannot be 100% vegetarian. So anytime I can get to my feet, I dance, I ski. This is the last time I could swim. Our 300 lakes are now polluted and I can't. That was a gift from an Arab that I helped back in the 1975, and I still wear it once in a while. My belly dance, I don't belly dance, but I used to. And just more gowns. I joined a ballroom dance club in Sudbury in 2002. Just a sample of some of the gowns that I made. And I made my mother's skirt and my outfits as well. Skiing, Dan finally took up skiing with me in 2009, and we did a lot of dancing, and I made more gowns. That's really my relief from pain. And some of my ballroom dance friends. And there's the tumor that just started. I didn't know that it was a tumor, but I started to develop nerve pain. And that's just, I'm coughing, that's just the allergies. It's early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And more gowns that I made, and ski tights that I made. And this is all from 2013, 2014, 2015. Pretty much the best year of my life was 2013 to 2014. I was climbing 2,000 feet up on skis cross country, and I thought I had it completely under control. I didn't take one attack that year. It was And all of that I crocheted in 1975, and I was still wearing it in 2015. And I made that outfit the same year. And I bought my Jeep in 2013. I always wanted a Jeep. I hate cars, but oh, there's Jill, isn't she lovely? That's my ski friend. And I love the pictures of the heavy snow. That was, for me, the best time. And this was the last of my best year. I skied right through until May. And I made that gown for both me and my mother the last year of her life, 2017. And I managed to pull out of the attack. So I went walking a lot with Dan on trails that we have in the north in wilderness. It's the only place I can go without a gas mask. And I made that outfit for my mother and me as well at a dance. And those are my 4 favorite outfits. And the last ones that I made. And the one I made those outfits except for the one on the left at the bottom. And this one I also made. And I took another paralyzing attack. I would take it without warning and never knew why. And then I'd wind up in bed, and I stayed with Dan. I still was with my mother. I was living with her. And he took that picture. I thought that was funny. But I was in so much pain I couldn't wear clothes. My whole body was toxic and then I had a reprieve and I could go swimming. And this was just a sample of and winter was always my best time. But I would literally go from crippling and looking like that's a before and after an attack. And Glenn, a dear friend, he created my website for me. And another outfit I made, but that jacket's really old. I bought that way back 30 years ago. And a lot of the jackets, my ski tights, they're all from children's shops. And Dan helped me take care of my mother. And there's Francine, beautiful ballroom dance friend, and Jan, who is a teacher and beautiful and gorgeous. And the outfits, of course, I made. What you see are the outfits that I made. All my ballroom, I make my own outfits. And this is the Big Nickel Country Band, our favorite country band. And so we then I finally started to ski again, and then we got, due to fraud, this is where we lost our home and our estate, and $1 million went down the drain. And it was all because of laws in Canada, and nobody cared. I went through $300,000 to get this truth and expose it, and nobody would publish it. I put it on a website, and nobody it cares, so it's all out on YouTube. And then my mother died. So I don't believe in funerals. I celebrated her life. And this is an outfit I made just prior to her death, and I wore it in her honor. And Helen, dear friend, rescued me when we lost our apartment to his Doug McIsaac's fraud. I've been a victim of fraud so many times in Canada, and not one person, not one rapist, not one criminal. And that's the apartment that we lost on Pine Street. Dan had been there for 35 years. And but that, if I could get to my feet, I say, okay, we move on, and we went dancing. That's basically what we did. We found an apartment that really is not healthy for me, but I decided we'll bloom where we're planted. And I finished, my websites are finished, and there's Francine, the last time we went dancing together before the pandemic. And there's Ida and me and Dan before the pandemic, and Jill and Len. And yeah, that was a good year. We had no idea what was coming. But the truth is, I'd had visions for years. I knew it was coming. And these are all outfits that I had made while I lived with my mother. And now I'm in COVID. And I made matching new outfits to cover and protect my gas mask. And I got out and skied as much as I could. And I got new skins. But I just celebrate to the best of my ability, and have great memories. And I bought this outfit for Dan because he hates the cold and he got poisoned and had terrible migraines. But me, I'll ski. I'll ski till June if I could. And he's all covered up, and I'm in skinny mini outfits. And we had a sudden snowfall. Oh, I was so happy about that. And there's Priscilla, another dear dance friend. And these are just lovely memories of my last years of great skiing. 2017 probably was the best year of my life, to 2019. And now we're in COVID, and it's just we do the best we can to live the best we can and have as much fun as we can. And if I can only get out for 5 minutes to breathe in clean, fresh air, we drive for an hour, and I'm grateful for that. And I call these my COVID outfits because I made matching masks. And fashion is what gets me out of depression. And I certainly had plenty of fashion. That was my Christmas gift last year to myself. The jacket, not the pants. The pants I made. We rarely use the car. Mainly we use the Jeep because you can't drive to go skiing. And when I can, I'm on swings because they really exercise my muscles. And I go shopping in my little COVID mask and my little COVID outfits. But it's been quite a journey. And I am proud to have survived. And I love swinging with the children, these gals. But raw okra is still what keeps me alive. I'll be 80 in September. And I've done the best I can to promote it as much as I can. Diets for disease control is what will save the children from my disease. And that research is all out there. And Dan does most of the shopping. And I made a few new outfits just this summer, 2021, because the tumor is now the size of a football and I'm crippling more than ever. And these are all from Stage and Street, which is a shop for theater and skaters and dancers. And their material is fun. It's super stretch. All my masks are water-resistant nylon super stretch. They protect, and they have a MERV 11 filter in them. I have all that on YouTube anyway. And Moonlight Beach, Dan asked me to do this. This is my legacy on one page. And these are my websites that will remain active after I die. And for those who are interested, the truth is you are poisoning not just the planet and global warming, but yourself. And you're passing genetic brain damage to the children. And this is, at least I tried, which is more than most. And I love this picture of myself. It was the best year of, one of the best years of my life I've had.